If you have ever felt totally misunderstood over a quick text message, or maybe felt a little pang of jealousy over a social media like, you are exactly in the right place. We're going to unpack the actual science of digital attachment and hand you the exact tools you need to build healthier, more connected relationships.
I want to start off with a question that gets right to the heart of modern life. Are you highly connected, but emotionally isolated? Look, if you feel lonely despite having a phone buzzing in your pocket with constant notifications, I want to validate that feeling right now. This is known as the loneliness paradox. And here's the thing. It is a systemic issue born out of our rapidly changing communication habits. It's absolutely not a personal failure on your part. You aren't doing relationships wrong. The system itself is just incredibly complex.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for the session. We'll be covering the digital intimacy divide, how attachment styles go online, identifying your specific triggers, the trap of artificial intimacy, setting healthy boundaries, and finally, some incredibly useful communication scripts for couples.
Starting right off with Section 1, the digital intimacy divide and the illusion of constant togetherness. You know, social media and instant messaging create this beautiful, shiny facade of intimacy, but they so often miss the real emotional cues our brains actually need to feel safe and loved.
The source material actually defines this loneliness paradox perfectly. When we passively scroll or interact online, our nervous systems do receive signals of social exposure. But, and this is a massive but, we aren't getting the actual emotional nourishment that comes from authentic physical interaction. Things like tone of voice, subtle facial expressions, and just shared physical presence are completely missing. So what happens? Our stress levels actually go up while our underlying sense of safety goes down.
Now, what's really fascinating is how the data completely backs this up. An Oxford University study investigated exactly how we use social media in our intimate relationships. When people need actual emotional support, like during a real emergency, or just when dealing with a remarkably bad day, they overwhelmingly prefer face-to-face interaction or a phone call. Social media and text messaging, they're great for broadcasting updates or doing some casual planning for sure, but they fall incredibly short when we need deep, genuine emotional buffering.
Moving into Section 2, attachment styles go online. Let's meet Alex and Jordan. To really grasp how this divide affects us, we have to look back at attachment theory. Originally developed by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, this theory explains how early childhood experiences literally shape our adult relationships. Let's see how these styles go online with our fictional case study couple, Alex and Jordan.
Okay, so on the left side here, we have Alex, who has an anxious attachment style. Online, Alex is all about rapid texting, constantly seeking validation through emojis, and feeling profound panic when a reply is delayed. On the right, we've got Jordan, who leans way more toward avoidant attachment. Jordan values independence, uses delayed responses as a kind of buffer, and actually uses digital platforms to maintain a safe emotional distance. You can immediately see the recipe for disaster here, right? Alex's desperate need for fast emotional reaction is going to clash terribly with Jordan's retreat into digital distance.
And this exact clash so often results in something called phubbing. Phubbing is literally snubbing someone in favor of your phone. Imagine Jordan feeling totally overwhelmed, just pulling out a phone right in the middle of dinner. Now, to Alex's anxious attachment system, this isn't just annoying. It triggers a primal distress response. It basically mimics the feeling of an infant being completely ignored by a preoccupied caregiver. Studies of married couples show that phubbing acts as a massive wedge, perpetuating a really deep emotional disconnect.
So, what do we do about it? Section 3, identifying your digital triggers. We're mapping the disconnect. We need some truly actionable therapy tools to help couples like Alex and Jordan diagnose exactly where these everyday conflicts actually start.
There's this incredible research out of Dublin Business School that emphasizes a vital shift in how we view therapy today. We literally have to stop looking at smartphones as just a passive medium of communication. The technology itself, the read receipts, the typing bubbles, those little green active dots, they act as an active participant in our relationship dynamics. We really have to start treating digital literacy as a core part of couples therapy.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we can map those exact patterns using a digital trigger journal. Notice the cyclical flow here. It's like a giant puzzle. If Alex is left on red, the core emotion is anxiety and rejection. The action? Double texting, which gives Alex some temporary relief, but guess what? It acts as a massive trigger for Jordan. Jordan's trigger is those intrusive texts, resulting in feeling totally overwhelmed. Jordan's action is withdrawing, which results in emotional distance. By tracing this specific path on paper, couples can rapidly de-escalate their conflict simply by seeing the cycle, rather than just blaming each other. Which brings us to Section 4. This introduces a fascinating, kind of wild new complication,
the artificial intimacy trap and the allure of the non-judgmental AI. Because what happens when an avoidant partner, like Jordan, decides human vulnerability is just way too hard and retreats entirely?
Well, we enter the realm of artificial intimacy. This is the formation of emotional bonds with AI, like chatbots or virtual companions. Because we humans are naturally wired by evolution to bond and seek proximity, we very easily anthropomorphize technology that is specifically designed to be highly responsive to us.
And this brilliantly illustrates why it builds such a tempting alternative to reality. Think about it. Real human relationships have a high emotional cost. They are messy, they require true vulnerability, and honestly, there is always a risk of rejection. AI companions, on the other hand, offer an incredibly low emotional cost. The vulnerability is entirely simulated, and there is absolutely zero risk of social rejection. For an avoidant attachment style like Jordan's, this feels like an incredibly safe haven.
But this creates what researchers are calling a socio-digital vulnerability trap. Sure, AI users report that chatbots are wonderfully accepting, understanding, and non-judgmental. But researchers strongly caution that this is a quick fix that can lead to major social substitution. Basically, when you fulfill your evolutionary need for bonding with a machine, it can reduce your social motivation, causing you to withdraw from the very real flesh and blood relationships that provide genuine long-term emotional sustenance.
So, Section 5, Setting Healthy Digital Boundaries. We need to focus on rebuilding the secure base. Let's look at strategies to help couples like Alex and Jordan establish a healthy, hybrid relational world.
Let's get super practical with a step-by-step guide for creating a tech-free zone to physically protect your relationship from digital impingement. Step 1. Identify a physical space in your home, like maybe the dining room or the bedroom, where devices simply do not go. Step 2. Set mutual boundary hours. Say, no phones after 8 p.m. And Step 3, which is absolutely crucial, you must replace that screen time with a shared connection ritual, so you aren't just sitting there staring at each other in silence.
For those of us struggling with compulsive checking, and let's face it, that's a lot of us, try these concrete tips. First, identify your digital love languages. Does your partner feel love through thoughtful texts throughout the day, or do they really prefer you just put the phone away entirely when you're together? Second, map out a visual digital genogram together to track your habits. Third, practice mindfulness. Just pause and take a breath before firing off that double text. And finally, respect your partner's need for autonomy. So, the crucial point is, how do we actually talk about all of this without starting a massive fight? Section 6, Communication Scripts for Couples. Let's look at the exact words you can use to heal the digital divide. If you are the anxious partner, kind of like Alex, try this exact script. When I see you scrolling during dinner, I feel disconnected and anxious. I need 15 minutes of uninterrupted time with you. Notice how brilliant this is. It doesn't attack the partner. It simply states the trigger, owns the emotion, and provides a very clear, measurable request that won't trigger an avoidant partner's defensiveness.
Now, if you are the avoidant partner, like Jordan, you need to establish a boundary, sure, but while still offering reassurance. Try saying this: I value our connection, but I'm feeling overwhelmed by the messaging. I need an hour of offline time to recharge. This beautifully affirms the relationship's security right out of the gate, before clearly stating a boundary and a specific time frame for when you'll return.
Ultimately, guys, it all comes down to intentional offline connection rituals. Small, consistent, shared, face-to-face experiences, like taking a weekly walk together or cooking a meal side by side, are the ultimate, evidence-based remedy to the loneliness paradox. These rituals literally regulate your nervous system, building the deep trust and emotional closeness that a screen simply can never replicate. So, I'm going to leave you with this provocative question to take into your own life. What is your digital love language, and exactly how will you disconnect to reconnect today? Take these therapeutic tools we just talked about, have that brave conversation with your partner, and start reclaiming your relationship from the digital divide. Thanks so much for learning with me today.